In this video, we are going to install SQL Server 2017 in Ubuntu 17.04, or in other words, we are going to install SQL Server in Linux. Our table is created successfully. Now I'm going to insert some records here. Insert into. This is my Sankti, and thanks for tuning in. Be Lemon. In this video, for installing SQL Server in Ubuntu, first I'm going to open terminal. For this I'm going to press Ctrl+Alt+T, and then I'm going to copy this first line for importing our public repository for SQL Server. I'm going to paste this here, and then I'm going to press enter. I think we need to enter our password here. And that's it. Now we are going to register the Microsoft SQL Server Ubuntu repository. For this I am going to copy this command, and then I am going to paste it here. Enter, and it is done. Next thing, we are going to copy this command, and then I am going to paste it. Right click, paste, enter. Okay, now next thing I want to the next line is going to install our SQL Server. So I'm going to copy this line, copy, and then we are going to paste it here, enter. Okay, now it is going to take some time because it is going to download around, I think, 173 MB. Okay, please run sudo opt msql bin msql config setup to complete the setup of Microsoft SQL Server. So installation is done. Now we need to configure our Microsoft SQL Server 2017 instance. For this, I'm going to scroll it down, and we need to configure SQL Server in Ubuntu. For this, I'm going to copy this. I think this is the same command. So let me quickly copy this. I'm going to paste this, or let me first clear my terminal. Clear. And then I'm going to paste this command to start the configuration for SQL Server. So the first thing, we need to accept the license term. Okay, if you want to read all this, you can copy this URL, or you can visit this URL. I think I am open link, and same for privacy. Right click, open link. Okay, so you can this is all text file. You can save it and you can read it. If you are fine with this, type yes and then enter. Okay, now we need to select the edition for our SQL Server. So let me first close this. I don't want this anymore. Okay, so we need to select the SQL Server edition. The first one is the free evolution, and you can use the evolution copy of SQL Server up to 180 days. Then we have our developer edition. It is available free of cost, but you are not able to use this developer and evolution copy for production use. Third, we have Express. It is free. Then we have web version, or we have web edition for SQL Server. It is paid. The fifth one is the standard, and the sixth one is the enterprise. In the seventh option, we have, if you have a license key, you can enter your license key. I'm going to use the second because I want to install developer edition. I think I need to select my terminal first, and then I'm going to type 2, and then I'm going to press enter. Okay, now we need to select the language which we want for SQL Server. I'm going to install, I want English, so I'm going to type 1, and then I'm going to press enter. For SQL Server, we have the option, language option is English, Dutch. I'm not sure what is this. So we have around 11 options for languages. So I'm going to select the first one, English, and then I'm going to press enter. Now we need to select the SQL Server system administrator password, or you can say this is the password for SA. So I'm going to type my password here. Okay, I typed my password, but you are not able to see it, or in terminal whenever you are going to type password, you are not, the password is not visible. So I typed my password and I'm going to press enter. Okay, we need to confirm our password again. If again I'm typing my password but it is not visible in terminal, so I'm going to press enter, and our password is set. Configuration of SQL Server. This is an evolution version. There are 110 days left in this evolution period. Okay, so our SQL Server setup and configuration is done, and setup has completed successfully. SQL Server is now starting. I'm not sure what is the current status for SQL Server. If you want to check the current status for SQL Server, you need to execute, I think the command is just here. Okay, for checking the status for SQL Server, we are going to use this command, system ECTL status MS SQL Server. Okay, so green mark, our SQL Server is active and running. Okay, and this is the date and time. So what next? Next we are going to install SQL Server command line tools. So if you want to execute, or if you want to create a database, if you want to execute TSQL queries, you need SQLCMD. And this is the steps for SQLCMD, and let me see what happens if we are going to execute SQLCMD right now. So I'm going to just copy the SQLCMD. Most probably 100% is going to be failed. So I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste it here and enter. SQLCMD command not found. Okay, so we need to install the command line tools. For this I'm going to first clear my terminal, and then I'm going to execute this line. This is going to be fetch the public repositories. This is done, and now we need to execute this command. This is also done, and now we are ready to get the updates, and then we are going to install SQL Server command line tool. Oh, here it is. This is package.microsoft.com Ubuntu 17.04 MS SQL Server in release, and this is for prod. I think we use this 16.04 prod. Okay, I think we use this for command line tools, and let me check the repository for SQL Server. Okay, so this is the list for repository list. So this is URL for SQL Server repository. Here it is, MS SQL Server. Okay, so our sources list are updated, and now we are able to install command line tools. For this I'm going to copy this command, and then I'm going to paste just here, enter. Around 5 MB I think the size. Okay, so the license terms for this product, you can be download from blah blah blah. By choosing yes, you can indicate that you accept the license term. Select yes. I'm using my keyboard arrow keys. Okay, I'm going to select yes, and then I'm going to press enter. Okay, again the license text. Again I'm using my arrow keys and then I'm going to select yes and then enter. Okay, so command line tools are installed successfully. Okay, so right now if I'm going to type SQLCMD, then it is not going to be work. So what, our installation is failed? No, our installation is successfully. Now we need to set environment variable. Our SQLCMD is located on this location. So let me quickly copy this path, and then I'm going to type cd. I'm going to paste this, enter, and then I'm going to check for all the available files. See SQLCMD here, and then if I'm going to type this command, then our SQLCMD is working fine. But what I want to execute SQLCMD from anywhere. So let me go back, and if I'm going to type SQLCMD, it is not working. But I want, whenever I'm going to type SQLCMD, it is going to be work. For this we are going to configure, for this we are going to set the path. For this, let me first again clear this, and then I'm going to copy this line. I'm going to copy this line first, paste, enter. Again I'm going to copy this line, and then I'm going to paste it here, enter. And then I'm going to copy this line, and then I'm going to paste it and enter. Okay, now let's try again SQL CMD. Now it's working. Okay, what next? Now it's time to execute some SQL queries. For this, I'm going to clear my terminal once again. I'm going to scroll, and we are going to create our first database. Okay, for connecting the local instance, this is the command. You need to type SQLCMD -s space localhost space -u for username. Then you need to provide your username, then -p, and then you need to provide your password. So let me quickly type my SQLCMD, and then I want to connect localhost, and then I want to provide my username. My username is SA, then password in single quotes, and this time you're going to type your password. It is going to be visible. Okay, and then I'm going to enter. Now I am connected to my SQL Server instance. Now it's time to create a database. So I'm going to type create database, and I'm going to say I want to create a vlemon test database. So I'm going to type vlemon test _db : enter. So no messages is of my database is created. So let me open another terminal. I'm going to place my another terminal just here. I'm going to copy this command, copy, and then I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to here I'm going to use vlemon _test _db and enter. Is my database created? Is my in first terminal is my database is created, and in my second terminal is I'm using vlemon test db? No. Why? For completing your SQL Server command, you need to type go and then enter. See, your database is not created. Message 911 level 16 state 1 server Ubuntu 17.04 line 1 database vlemon test db does not exist. Make sure that the name is entered correctly. Okay, so for completing this command, I'm going to type go in this terminal also, and then I'm going to press enter. Now my database is created. Now if I'm going to execute the same command here, and then I'm going to type go, yes, my database changed to vlemon test db. Okay, let's try one more command. Now this time I'm going to create a table. Create table TBL, or I'm going to say DBO TBL test, or let me first select our database. So use vlemon underscore test underscore db. Is it going to be work? No, this time it is going to be work. So let me try one more time. Remove this, go, and now our vlemon test db is selected. Now again I am going to create a table. Create table, DBO is my default schema, TBL test data test table, enter, bracket, enter my first column ID, and it is going to be type big int. I want this to be as an identity, primary key, and then I want a data column. Data, I'm going to assign its type to varchar. 10 is going to be the size. I'm not sure what is wrong here. I'm going to say data varchar, size going to be 10, enter, bracket close, colon, and finally go. Our table is created successfully. Now I'm going to insert some records here. Insert into, I want to insert in dbo.table test table, and then I'm going to select the column. The column name is data, and the value is, I'm going to type my value. I'm going to say hello vlemon, and then I'm going to close this bracket, enter, and then go. Is vlemon okay? So it's HELLO 5 space. Okay, so our string is more than 10 characters. So let me quickly remove hello and then enter. Go. Now one row is affected. Now I'm going to select our table dbo.tbl test table. Oops, I don't want this. Go. Okay, so this is our data. Finally, our SQL Server installation is completed successfully. We configured our SQL Server, we installed the data tools, and we also created some test data and tables, and we added some records. Now, working in terminal is not good. Working in terminal is not user friendly. So in my next video, I'm going to show you some IDEs which you can use to execute your SQL Server queries inside Ubuntu. Right now, if you are trying to connect your SQL Server instance using SQL Server Management Studio with some other machines, then it is not going to be work. For this, we need to open port 1433. So in my next video, I'm going to show you how to open your port 1433, and I'm also going to show you IDEs which you can use inside Ubuntu to execute your SQL Server queries, or you can use for your SQL Server, your database development. So if you want to, you can use exit to exit the command line tool, and again exit to exit terminal.